Hey, 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 hey. Thank you so much for clicking on this podcast. You are tuned in to episode 29 of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. This podcast is being brought to you by yours truly. Of course, I'm talking about myself. You can call me Twinkle, call me SheIsTwinkle, call me Antoinette. As long as you're calling my name, that's all that matters to me. This is my first podcast episode of the month of October, which is very unusual because I would have had a podcast episode out by now. I mean, there's been so much going on in the world, in the news, in the media, in my life. I would have got on here, but I have updates to give y'all and y'all will understand it all. So let me begin by saying I said I was going to do it. I did it. I have been back active on my YouTube channel. Check me out. I have been reviewing Netflix's hit show, Love is Blind. And I just been giving it to the people. Y'all, if y'all have not got a chance to check it out, you definitely should. I reviewed season 5, episodes 1 through 10. I will have the review up shortly for the reunion episode. Spoiler alert. Only one couple got married in the end. I was shocked that it was one, because when I tell you the dysfunction this season was unreal, it was totally worth it. So if you haven't got a chance to check out those reviews, you definitely should. I haven't been totally missing in action. I just had to get back into the flow of things. But beyond that, for a week out of this month of October, I went cruising. So your girl was a Bahama mama in the Bahamas with my husband. Yeah, this was our 5th cruise, and it was every bit of worth it. Now, mind you, I've been to the Bahamas 5 times now. So I am really looking forward to going somewhere else for my next cruise. And of course, I'll let y'all know all about that. But I'm not ungrateful. I was a Bahama mama out there with my Bahama mama in my hand, and it was life. Let me dispel some of those myths out there about cruises, because I am a total advocate for cruises. For one, they assume that it's expensive. And for 2, they are oddly frightened at the fact that they're on water. Let me knock down both of these myths right now. The money. A cruise is the most budget-friendly trip that you could ever go on. Not only is the price of admission low, but once you get on the ship, everything is included except for the cost of alcohol. That is the only thing that you have to budget for if you want to drink alcohol, or you can buy a drink package. And depending on how much you drink a day, maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. But other than that, there's food available all day long, all different types of food, and it's good food. There's free entertainment. There is a whole casino on there. Now, the casino costs money. Of course, if you want to gamble, you got to spend some money. There's also shopping on the boat. There is a spa. There's always a recreational area. So whether it's a gym or it's outdoor basketball, there's a ton of swimming pools. I mean, a cruise is life. It is everything. I've only utilized Royal Caribbean and Carnival cruise lines. Now I'm going to tell y'all which one I prefer in a minute. But let me begin by telling you, I went online today to see what the prices were starting at for Royal Caribbean and Carnival. For Carnival, you can get a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas or to Cozumel, Mexico for as low as $184 per person. That's not per day. That's for the entire trip, per person. And when I say per person, each room has to have at least 2 people in the room. That is not a lot of money. And most of the time when you're planning for a cruise, you're planning for it to be months away or maybe sometime next year. So the only thing you have to cover at that point is the price of airfare, which you have more than enough time to prepare for, and they always have flight deals. And then you just have to get transportation, meaning a Uber, to get from the airport to the ship. That is all. You don't have to spend more money. Once the ship ports, meaning it docks at a destination. You can do excursions, whether you want to do jet skis or glass bottom boat fishing, or you want to go and sightsee, or you want to do a specific type of tour, or you don't have to spend any money. You can go to their private island and go to the beach, or you can go downtown to the shopping district. You can do all types of things. They have clubs inside of the ship. They have a TV. They have all types of shows. It is the most bliss and peaceful trip you will ever go on in your life. How many of y'all out there have ever felt like, I need a break from reality? I need to disconnect from the world. I need to turn my phone off. I need to not worry about what is going on in my hometown, in my city, at my workplace, in my family, with my friends. If that has been you, if you could check any of those boxes, if you just need to get away and think in peace, a cruise is for you. You can go by yourself or you can go with other people. You will meet people on a cruise. You can talk to them. You cannot talk to them. I believe if you have not been on a cruise, everybody should go. It is the most cost-friendly trip ever. For Royal Caribbean, the tickets are as low as $203 per person. It is totally worth it. Now, to quickly dispel that second myth of being frightened by the water, this cruise ship is a gigantic cruise ship. It is not a rowboat. It is not a kayak. You are not going to fall into the water. It literally feels like a hotel/mall on water. You don't even realize that the ship is moving because you can't feel it. It's not rushing winds. This is not Forrest Gump where he was in the middle of a storm. That is not how this works. You get the most peaceful sleep on cruise boats because the waves in the ocean are rocking, or you're just going smoothly. Yeah, it is everything. Some of them even have payment plans where you can pay them off in payments. Zero money down, zero interest. It just has to be paid before the cruise. But anyways, to answer y'all quick questions, which one is better, Carnival or Royal Caribbean? I personally believe that Royal Caribbean is better. They have better quality food. I just think the ships are nicer and there's less kids on there. So there's less kids in the pool, there's more adult areas, and it just seems more chill and relaxing. So it's up to you. Both of them are a great deal, a great price. I got to check out some more of these cruise lines because the cruise life is for me. I enjoyed myself. Now, beyond all of the cruise stuff, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I am a huge advocate for breast cancer awareness, and I think it is so important to go get your tatas checked. My mother and my grandmother, same side of the family, they both, thank God, are 10 plus year breast cancer survivors. And I am my mother's offspring. So that had been a concern of mine. And now I have children. They're both girls. The concern was heightened even more so. But I am a huge proponent of leading by example. So I want to show my girls that it is very important to put your health first and to stay up to date on these types of things. There are a few things that you can do that I have been doing throughout the years, and I also did this month to make sure that you stay up to date on your personal health status. A few years ago, I went to my doctor's office and my doctor directed me to the right place so that I could get genetic testing. That was very important for me, especially because my mother's breast cancer was detected at such a young age when she was 35. And it was a aggressive stage 3. I also went to my local cancer center and I let them know of my family history as well as passing along my genetic testing results. They sent that information to my insurance company, and now my insurance company covers a yearly mammogram for me, which is very important because most women, your insurance is not going to cover you for mammograms until you're the age of 40. And then it's every 5 or 10 years. I wanted to put that information out there because so many people don't know, and knowledge is power. Also, I wanted to dispel that myth that men cannot get breast cancer. That is not true. Every 1 in 100 men develop breast cancer. If they have a history of it in their family, they are susceptible to it as well. That doesn't mean that it will happen just because it's a history in your family, but it does increase your risk levels. So that is my public service announcement for this podcast, but it is so important. I've seen so many survivors throughout the years, and early detection is best because then if there is something, if there is a diagnosis, at least you can tackle it before it gets out of control. It's scary to find out that information or to find out if you have a gene mutation, but just because you have a gene mutation doesn't mean that you're going to develop whatever that disease is. But it does tell you of the risk level and the likelihood that you could develop it. So then you can put preventative measures in place and you can stay up to date with your health. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. Let's get on something a little bit lighter. So I want to do a really quick question of the day because not only is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's also Halloween. People are going out buying costumes. Scary movies are coming out. They're featured on all the streaming platforms, and I am not here for it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I am terrified to death of scary movies. So, my question of the day for today is, what was the scariest movie you've ever seen? That is so easy for me, so I'm going to give y'all my answer real quick. Hands down, Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity is the scariest movie I have ever seen, to the point where I stopped watching scary movies after that. As a teenager, I used to enjoy being scared, just the thrill behind it. Okay, let's watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's watch It. Let's watch Freddy versus Jason. But when I got to college and I thought it was a bright idea to watch Paranormal Activity in my apartment. Why did I do that? I was terrified. I felt like the spirits on the DVD, I felt like they came through my TV. I promise to God, I felt like they was in my house. Y'all know how after y'all watch something scary, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I need to watch something happy, something chipper. I need to watch something that's going to make me laugh. That's how I felt. At the same time, I felt like I needed to pray. I know I started praying. I said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, please come through. I was terrified. So that is without a doubt the scariest movie I've ever seen, Paranormal Activity. I would love to know y'all answers to today's question of the day. Please comment your answers below and like this video if you're watching it on YouTube. But if you're listening to this on a podcast audio platform, that's totally fine as well. Just send me your feedback on Instagram. Okay. Now that we've gotten the lighthearted things out of the way, let's get into these book tours. As y'all know, every year, celebrities, they come up with a bright idea to write a book about their life. I don't understand why they don't appreciate keeping things a mystery, but they like to spill their own tea. Let's get to the first tea spill with Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington is on a book tour run about her newest book called Thicker Than Water. So to make a long story short, her situation sounds like Kirk Franklin's situation, but it's not the same. Kirk Franklin found out at 53 years old who his biological father was. Meanwhile, he thought that another man that's already passed away was his father, but that wasn't his dad. Fast forward to Kerry Washington, she also found out that her father is not her actual biological father. She actually found out because she was filming a show called Finding Your Roots. Kerry had given her DNA and found out that it was not a match with her father's DNA. So then she went to her parents with questions like, what is going on? Like, tell me the truth. Her parents told her they were going to take this secret with them to their graves. They never planned on telling her. They didn't tell anyone. But they actually had to go to a sperm bank and they picked out the characteristics of the sperm donor. They made sure that he was a Black male. They knew the medical history and the traits and all of the possible medical side effects that could come along with their daughter having his DNA. This was done in the 70s, so it wasn't as normal as it is nowadays. So this is why they kept it a secret. They also kept it a secret because her father was the one that was not able to reproduce. They wanted her so bad. They wanted to raise a child together that they were willing to go through those more extreme measures to go to a sperm bank and get donated sperm and then be able to go through with the pregnancy. But they raised Carrie her entire life, having her thinking that her father was her biological father. So when she found out this information, of course, she felt like they lied to her entire life. She wasn't happy about that. However, once they broke down the conversation, she's glad that they got it out on the table. She doesn't look at her dad as not being her father. She loves him even more so because she realizes that he chose to be her father. He wanted her, and her mother wanted her that bad, where they said, by any means necessary, we're going to make sure that we produce a child together. It may not be naturally, and we may have to go to the sperm bank, but we wanted you here and we wanted to raise you together in a loving home. And that's exactly what they did. I thought it was an interesting story. And when I first heard it, I thought to myself, why would you ever lie to your child about their paternity? You should not lie to your child. At least when she's an adult, you should tell her the truth. However, I never considered this special situation. I never considered the fact that this doesn't only affect Carrie, it affects her father as well. Carrie's parents, they asked her when she found out, please don't tell anybody this. Carrie refused. She said, no, I love you, but now this is my story. This is a part of my journey. I'm writing a book, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to talk about it to the masses. Now, if you ask me, I don't know why she felt entitled to do that. I'm saying this because her sperm donor is an actual sperm donor. Those two words, sperm donor, are used incorrectly in today's society all the time. A lot of people will say that their deadbeat dad is just a sperm donor. No, that's just a deadbeat dad. A sperm donor literally donated their sperm. They had no connection as far as being a parent to that child. That sperm donor was helping another person be a mother or a father, or the couple being parents. They were helping people that were not able to naturally produce on their own. They have no ties and no rights to that person. I'm sure they signed paperwork saying that as well. So they're not responsible for that person. By Carrie revealing that information out loud, she's also revealing her father's quote unquote shortcomings. I don't think it's a shortcoming. There's a lot of women that can't reproduce, but you don't know how that makes somebody feel. I don't think that that was Carrie's place to share that publicly. Also, let's put a cherry on top with this information I'm about to give y'all. Carrie is now publicly saying that she is utilizing her resources and she is looking to find her sperm donor and meet him. Why? I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Why does she need to meet him? She grew up in a loving household with great parents. She doesn't have complaints about them. She's not missing out on anything. She doesn't need to know her medical history or what she's susceptible to as far as family diseases or genetic traits, because they have that information. Her parents do. So why would you go and blow up this man's life who never intended to be your father? You're not his child. He doesn't owe you anything. Girl, let that man live. Move on with life, celebrity or not. Speaking of that, let's move on to the next book. Yeah, it is Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, if anybody knows how to stir up chaos, it's her. As if we haven't heard enough from her and Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith has decided to come out with a memoir titled Worthy. I don't know why the name is called Worthy, but I do know that she is spilling all of her family tea and drama. She's been doing interviews all over the place, and the first bit of information that came out that is going to be featured in the book is that her and Will Smith have been separated since 2016. What? Y'all heard me. 2016. Mind you, in public, they present themselves as a unified front, a married couple. We saw them sitting on the front row at the Oscars as a married couple. We didn't realize they were separated. Will Smith embarrassed himself on a night that was his moment. He went and slapped Chris Rock in front of everybody on live television. You brought Will Smith on your Red Table Talk show and embarrassed him like the hurt and injured spouse, and admitted to having an entanglement with August Alsina, and he had to sit there with a dumb look on his face. Girl, what in the what? Yeah, that gives a whole new meaning to when her and Will were on her Red Table Talk and they joked and said, "We ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life." What? Like, I don't know what kind of agreement y'all got, but obviously that wasn't a joke. Like, that was serious. That leads me to my common belief that I stand on. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't think that you want to switch places with somebody else. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what it took for them to get to where they are now. And you don't know what type of mask or facade they're putting on. Yes, in public together, Jada's body looks snatched. Will always looks very like fit and put together. They look like money together. But behind closed doors, they wasn't even together. They was separated. Who separates for 7 years? But then y'all still get in public and present yourselves as a married couple, as a united front. I'm so confused. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Moving right along, I wanted to get into some quick wrap-ups. The one and only Beyonce, as y'all know, she had been on her world tour, the Renaissance World Tour. So now that her tour has passed, we know that her movie is coming up. It will be in theaters, not on streaming platforms, and that will be on December 1st. Her film that has not even come out yet, but she put out pre-sale tickets the day after her last tour date. On that first day, she already made $6 to $7 million in ticket sales. We ain't seen no trailer. We ain't seen no previews. She ain't did no interviews. And people are already bought and sold. Her movie is supposed to be 2 hours and 30 minutes long. So y'all already know I'm going to be here for it. I'm going to come on here and review it. Moving right along. I'm going to make this quick because they tripping. Netflix, they are increasing their subscription fees again for the 7th time. I believe they're going to $22.99 a month. Netflix gonna start getting canceled because they don't be bringing shows back quick enough. Sometimes the video don't be working at that time. Like, that's way too much money. At this point, people gonna have to start picking and choosing. Do I want Paramount Plus? Do I want BT Plus? Do I want Amazon Prime Video? Do I want Stars? Do I want Netflix? Do I want HBO Max? Because this is getting ridiculous. At this point, you may as well have cable because you paying the same price where you pay for all those streaming services together. But that's my gripe with that. If y'all gonna increase the price, then let us start sharing the password again, because you know that's what we're doing with all the other streaming services. Whatever. Best Buy, my last update, store update. Best Buy has finally got with the program. They have announced that in 2024, they will finally stop selling Blu-rays and DVDs. I don't know who's still buying Blu-rays and DVDs. That's the confusing part to me. Because who has a DVD player? I mean, I guess you could put a DVD in a gaming system, but that's weird. Just stream it. These companies blow my mind. But anywho, I wanted to get into the quote of the day before I wrap up today's episode. The quote of the day for today is by Steve Harvey. The quote is, "If you don't separate yourself from distractions, your distractions will separate you from your goals." That was a golden nugget that we all have to remind ourselves. If you have dreams out there, if you have goals and aspirations, even if it's a fitness goal or it's a health goal or it's within your career at work and you're trying to get promoted, or you're trying to be an entrepreneur like myself, you have to separate yourself from those distractions, because if you don't, your distractions will separate you from your goals. Yeah, this has been another amazing episode of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. Thank you so much for sticking in there with me, for your continued love and support. Please be sure to follow me on Instagram at SheIsTwinkle1. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at SheIsTwinkle. Subscribe to this podcast on all podcast platforms. And until next time, love you all. Bye-bye.